Hi everyone, hope you're enjoying the sessions. My session is on how to get your organization ready for a successful ABM implementation. My name is Dario Priolo and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Sales Performance International. I also run a practice focused on demand generation, working with our clients. SPI is a global sales technology, training, and analytics company. We've been around for about 28 years. We've received a number of awards, very important to us. And we help clients primarily that sell high-value solutions to sophisticated buyers. So down below you can see a sample of our clients. ABM is really top of mind for a number of our clients. So back in August of last year, we conducted a survey, and the survey was meant to provide insight to sales leaders to support their planning decisions for 2017. And one of the questions we asked sales managers and sales reps, what were some of the things that would help them to generate more demand more effectively? And the number one issue that they identified was beginning account-focused marketing directed at specific high-potential target prospects. So that was a really, really important thing in their minds to help them grow demand in 2017. And if you think about our clients, these clients sell high-value solutions. ABM is a really good fit. So again, most of our clients are doing things like they're doing inbound programs, they're doing mass outbound programs, and we hear a lot now that those programs, although they're helpful, are not really the best fit for their business. Again, it's all about identifying targets very specifically that buy high-value solutions, and ABM is a great fit for that approach, so hence the interest. But what we've seen, especially in the marketplace, because we actually implemented this in the fall of last year, and we're running with it now very successfully. But there's a lot of content out there in the marketplace, a lot of buzz around why you should do ABM, and I think we hear about that and we talk about it too. But there isn't a whole lot out there on how you actually do it. And what we've learned is that it's a whole lot more than just implementing technology. Okay, the technology is a very important piece of ABM. There are a lot of technology providers out there that do great things, but again, it's much more than just the technology. We learned that, we see our clients coping with that, and hence, our approach here that really gets us thinking about much more than just the technology piece of implementing this within an organization. Because when you think about it, to do ABM right, you really need coordination across a number of different functional units. And sometimes those functional units, work together well, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're just not used to working with each other. So to do ABM well, you should have marketing, you should have your business development function, your sales function, your account management function, and your customer success function, at a minimum, working together. And those groups don't always work well together, and they don't always work well, they're just not used to working well most of the time, or working together most of the time. So that's the beauty of ABM. I mean, a good ABM process helps to align those functional groups to focus on the client or the prospect. And again, we've implemented Engagio, and Engagio has been great to enable this at scale. So it's enabled us to design plays that span these multiple groups, execute plays focused on a number of different key decision makers within an account, delivery of content and messaging across multiple channels, and then the tracking and reporting of contact engagement in these select accounts. And also tracking for accountability purposes, the activities that are expected of the various people within our organization to execute a play. So Engagio has been really, really helpful. We couldn't have done this without Engagio. But again, it's not just about the technology, it's about all the other things that have to be in place for this to succeed. So with that, we've created what we call our success roadmap. We have applied this internally with ourselves. We've been using it with clients. And there are 6 stages of the process. And what I'm going to focus on for this session is really the organizational readiness piece. Because if you don't have, these 5 key areas covered, you probably shouldn't do this. You're not ready to do account-based marketing yet. So think of it as, a horse race. And you go to a horse race and you have the starting gate, and maybe you have 10 horses. It always seems like, maybe 8 of the horses go into the gate smoothly. And then you've got a couple of horses that just have a hard time, sort of getting into those gates. It's a good way to think about it. You have a number of different groups within your organization that need to be aligned. Some of those groups may be, ready, willing, and able to do this. Others may not. So you really need to either get them on board or reprioritize, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about here. So the first stage is, again, it gets to, how aligned are key functions. Now, I mean, if functions aren't aligned, if there's conflict, I think of it like a goalie fight. If people are protective, if they're not ready, willing, if they're not convinced this is necessary, then you're going to have a problem. The other thing is, do you have common processes and definitions today? Basic lead management process and definitions. If you don't have that in place today, again, you're probably not ready for ABM. You have some homework to do. You need ABM. ABM is a more advanced program that requires a solid foundation to build on. If you don't have it, then go back to the basics and get that taken care of before taking this next step. And finally, is there mutual respect and trust? Again, these functions are going to have to work together pretty closely, and if there isn't that mutual respect and trust, then you've got an issue. You probably have a leadership issue. So again, if that's not in place, then you're probably not ready, and you need to go back and get a few things fixed before you move forward. So the next stage here in readiness is the business case. And the business case is again, critically important to get everybody rallying around this cause. So first of all is, what do you want your ABM program to achieve? I think it's so important for everyone to be on the same page. What I've seen is that a lot of ABM is driven by marketers who are really intrigued with the technology. And sellers, although they stand to benefit a lot from it, don't really understand it as well. And then doesn't make sense for your business. Again, our clients and with ourselves, we sell high value solutions to very targeted buyers within organizations. So for us, it makes a lot of sense. But for others, maybe not as much sense if you're more transactional, for example. And then what's your current and future state? Where are you today and where do you want to go in the future? And then how are you going to achieve that future state? And that's where you start to identify, the change required and the resources required. And then finally, will the cost and also with the cost, the disruption potentially outweigh the benefits? And when you do that, then you can take a step back and say, should this be a priority for the business? Because ultimately, you really need leadership bought into this to do it right. I think if your ABM program isn't the top 1 or 2 priority growth initiative for your company, then again, you probably have some other things that you need to do first before stepping into the ABM waters. Once you've established the business case, then you want to establish the charter. And here's where you start to take it down to another level of detail, not only at the leadership level, but at the operational level with the people who will actually be supporting the program. So being very, very clear, again, not just at the top level, leadership level, but down to the people who will actually be doing the work. What are you trying to achieve? And then how will you define success? And then how will sales, marketing, and the other supporting functions work together? Again, very, very important to be clear about this before you get into it so you can be successful. Another big one is, how will the program be funded? Is this a marketing funded program? Is it a sales funded program? Is it a special program that's funded by the business unit? Very important to set a clear expectation up front so that you don't get into conflict later down the road. And then finally, is everyone really bought in? Certainly at a leadership level, and then at an operational level as well. I think that's important too. And not only are people bought in, but are they really excited? Do they believe that this program will deliver the growth and be important for the business? And if they're not, again, you have some work to do to make sure that you've really covered your bases and that this is the right thing for your organization. Then you want to get into the more detailed processes and policies. And that's where, again, I showed you our success framework here. But you need a map like that, again, just to really spell things out end to end, and get everybody on the same page around how the ABM program is actually going to work. And then setting clear expectations or service level agreements for how people are going to behave. How will important decisions be made? You're going to see here that there are opportunities where, you'll need to make decisions, whether something's working or not, or, for example, what play should you design next and what play should you execute? So there are cross-functional decisions that need to be made. And then what's optional and what's mandatory? You may have some people that, again, may have the opportunity to opt out of the program, maybe some accounts that you don't want part of the program, but you have to decide that up front so that you prevent conflict down the road. Then, what are the roles and responsibilities? So who's responsible for what and when? And you're going to have a number of activities within this process. So things like play design, play execution, conflict resolution, program communication, reporting, all of that is really important to support a successful ABM program. So again, if you don't have those roles and responsibilities clearly laid out, then you'll get into situations where maybe people are going to start receiving tasks in Salesforce.com and see things pop up, and they're going to question why they were assigned these and why they have to do them, and it actually creates resistance to the program. So be very clear about who's responsible for what, and then when you do this, it also helps you evaluate whether you have the right resources and enough resources in place. So again, can't say it enough. Define the roles and responsibility. Be very clear. Be very transparent, and take time to educate and train people on what they need to do and how they need to do it, especially if you have new technology. Because again, this is a different way of doing business. It's a change for many organizations, and you don't want to underestimate what it takes in order for change to be successful within your organization. So again, I hope I've shared some good nuggets with you. I think there's a lot of really good thinking that went into the success roadmap, and I would be more than happy to share it with you and walk you through the full success roadmap in more detail from start to finish. If this is something that is interesting to you, just please email me at dpriolo@spisales.com. Again, my name is Dario Priolo, and I would be more than happy to spend some additional time with you to help you decide whether your organization is really ready for an ABM program. When you embark on the program, you really want to be successful. Your credibility is on the line, so it's better to cover your bases and not take chances. What they say, measure twice, cut once, right? So you're going to put it out there, and we want you to be successful. So that concludes my session. Again, any questions, please email me, and thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.